Game one, no problem. Illini off to a fantastic start.
You are Locked On Illini, your daily podcast on the Illinois Fighting Illini. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome one, welcome all to another edition of Locked On Illini. Thank you all so much for making us your first listen each and every day. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Illinois starts 1-0, so make sure you smash that like button if you are watching. Illinois wins 113-55. And those of you who are joining me from last year, you know I do this every single day. I go live immediately after every men's basketball game and men's football game. Today is going to be no different. The season is going to be no different. And more often than not, I'm going to bring on a special guest to discuss what we just saw. And today I'm going to bring on my good pal, Cody Delmendo. Thanks for jumping on, Cody.
Oh, it's good to be back, Sonny. Illinois basketball is back. Baseball season's over, which means Illinois basketball is back. This is what I live for. This and the Bulls haven't necessarily like put me deep into a hole. So it's nice to have what I'm used to being good back while also enjoying, like, I've really enjoyed watching Io like thrive with the Bulls this year. And then, like I said, the Bears, they're interesting. I don't know. But the point is, Illinois basketball is back, and I'm excited, man.
It's not only back. I mean, they looked really good today. Now, I mean, granted, guys, who's ever watching this, we understand this was Jackson State, and Jackson State's not really going to put up a formidable challenge against the Illini, but that's not what I'm judging this game based on. I'm judging this game based on what I saw on the court, how the players looked, how the offense looked, how the defense looked. And to me, pretty much everything passed with flying colors. Again, 113-55. You had, all these guys. You had a starting lineup of Tomislav, David, Jake Davis made a start. And then you had Keaton Wagler and Kylan Boswell. The big news, which you and I are going to talk about in a little bit in the second segment, is Brandon Lee was gone. So all of a sudden, we're counting on major minutes from Blake Fagbemi. Just the guards were pretty depleted, but it really didn't matter. This was one of those games, whether they rested Andre Stojaković just for caution, it's fine. Because clearly, he can use a couple more days rest, and we'll give it a go on Friday. But Cody, I'm curious, what are your thoughts from the first 40 minutes of the Illini basketball season?
That this team's the offense isn't changing much. That's my first big takeaway is this offense isn't changing much. We're still going to shoot a ton of threes, and I don't want to say we're going to live and die by it because I think there's a little bit more versatility on this team, it seems like, compared to last year on top of veteran leadership. But the offense ain't changing much. And, if you like to bet overs, this Illini team is going to be fun to bet overs on. That's my biggest takeaway is just the offense looked incredible. Came 1-3 away from tying the school record for threes. Again, Jackson State, whatever. I get it. It's the first game of the year. It's the first real game that mattered though. And, I'd rather see them play these mid-major non-conference games really well because they got Alabama and they got Tennessee and Mizzou in December. And their non-conference schedule with the high majors is not easy. So, of course, I'd rather see them destroy these schools like Jackson State like this rather than them not. So, it was a really fun game to watch if you like offense.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those where, sure, you are playing Jackson State, and when you win 113-55, it's still hard to more than double up an opponent when you're playing at the college basketball level. And it's not like we're the only ones playing a smaller school. There's some bigger programs out there who actually lost today. So I'm not going to take that for granted. I just really enjoy the fact that we're 1-0 right now. That's how you want to start this season. Of course, there's some causes for concern on the injury front, but let's just talk about the good. I guess we'll just take turns. I'll start off with David Mirkovic. I mean, this guy, if Jackson State had a pulse, David could have gotten a triple-double in his first ever college basketball game. Just, all that positive momentum he had from the Illinois state exhibition match to the the Florida secret scrimmage seems to have transferred over to the season. I mean, first half, he had a double-double. Now, keep in mind, he's the first Illini to have a double-double in his first game since Kofi Coburn, and David just happened to do it in one half. Cody, this guy's legit.
Yeah, man. I mean, when he threw an underhand full court pass for I don't remember who it was to, but it ended up in a
Davis, was it?
Yeah, it might have been, but when he threw a full court pass underhand, like the most wildest like fast break play I've seen from a guy of his size, at least at the college level, in a really long time, maybe ever. That's whenever I was like, okay, like I know it's Jackson State, but this guy's gonna annoy a lot of teams in the Big Ten if he keeps going like this. And even the way he runs up and down the court, I'm like, this guy is reminding me of dudes that annoyed me on other teams. I did just watching him run up and down the court, man. So yeah, no, he definitely is living up to the hype that he was getting in, the exhibition season and stuff like that. So yeah, no, that's the number one good, I guess, for me. I really enjoyed watching Keaton Wagler because I know Mihailo Petrovic not being eligible, not being able to play with the team all summer played a part in this, but I didn't really know what to expect from him coming into the season. And he's also like really been a big part of, the hype train coming into the year. And, 18 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals. He had 3 turnovers, but he's a freshman. But
I just went from the free throw line. And I feel like he's the only Illini who hit any free throws today.
Yeah. Well, I like his game. Like it's not like he just stood out on the 3-point line. He had some dribble drives. He, got out on the fast break. Like, again, I know it's Jackson State, but he looked like really comfortable out there. He didn't look anything like a freshman. So hopefully it's a nice little building block for him and keep building that confidence. Because guys like him, freshmen like that, like the better you play in these types of games, it helps build confidence for those bigger games down the road.
And we can talk about the other guys. I'll run through the numbers real quick. Tommy Visic had in 23 minutes, he had 21 points, 9 of 12, 4 rebounds. Ben Hummerkaus in 21 minutes had 21 points, 6 of 11, 5 for 9 from 3-point land. But you know what, Cody? I like the idea of let's just focus for a couple more minutes on just a freshman this year. You can't really ask for a better debut between the two. I think Keaton showed once again a little timidness in that first half where he doesn't seem as comfortable and the aggressor that David Mirkovic is. But I kind of said all off season long, my everydayers in here can vouch for me that David played against grown men in Europe. A college basketball game against Jackson State is not going to make him nervous. And you could clearly tell right on the court that he felt comfortable, that he was making plays, and that expecting him to have those freshman jitters. I just don't know if it's necessarily going to happen with him. With Keaton, it did, but in that second half, he settled down a little bit. I really like the fact that he went at the basket more. Again, he led the team in free throw attempts with 10, making 8 of them. And it's just, we're going to need him now more than ever, especially with this new injury with Brandon Lee that we're going to talk about in a minute or two. Yep. We want Keaton to get comfortable because there's a very good chance in about 9 days in that matchup against Texas Tech, he's going to be counted on to play a major role in it. And I think game one, if you're talking about your 2 freshmen, got to combine 37 points on 11 for 18 shooting. I think we're off to a great start.
Yeah, man. Yeah. They have so far, the freshmen specifically, they have exceeded all of my expectations. And I was someone, I don't know about you, at least I don't remember. I don't remember how you felt about Mirkovic whenever the news dropped, but I was excited about him just because of watching a film. But did I expect what we've seen so far already? Like, no, I did not. So I will say it's not hard to exceed my expectations whenever I'm try to set them low. But yeah, man, this freshmen are going to be a big part of this team if they're actually going to go further than, the round of 32 this year. Like, it's just the facts of what will have to happen. You're going to need your stars to be stars, and then you're going to need these freshmen to be, quote unquote, the X factors. So,
we're talking about freshmen, and obviously the two main ones that need to be discussed are David and Keaton Wagler. But, all jokes aside, let's talk about the best athlete that Brad Underwood has ever coached, apparently, in Blake Fegbemi. I don't know if you heard that portion. Blake is a fellow guy from Naperville, like myself.
Yeah.
Not bad. It's one of those where he was called into action. I don't think anyone planned for him to play 14 minutes today. He had 2 points on 1 of 3 shooting, 3 rebounds, which could have been double-figure rebounds if the Avicic brothers didn't exist. He went up for plenty of those, and the Avicic brothers like, no, I got it. It's like, again, you don't expect him to play much. I mean, in fact, 14 minutes, I don't know if he's going to accumulate that over the next month, if we're being real. But for a guy who's a walk-on, I think he played just fine, too. If we're going to continue talking about these freshmen, I think Blake deserves some foul.
Yeah. I mean, I won't lie to you. I completely forgot he was on the team until I realized that Brandon Lee was out and was like, who's going to take his spot? But yeah, I mean, one thing that I do love about this team in general is that there's more depth on it. Now, is he going to play a major role on this team in 2025, 2026? Probably not, but it's nice to be able to have a guy like that, be able to come in and he showed why, like, he got recruited by Illinois as a walk-on or whatever, like he looked like he belonged on the court as a walk-on, and so I was happy for him, and who knows what his role will be as time goes on, but it's nice to have this kind of depth because it wasn't just the starting 5, and you got 21 points off the bench from Humrickhouse too. But my big thing is, while watching it, is everyone who came in, they brought some form of energy, and that's what you're gonna need from the bench.
Yeah, I think that's what I kind of take from this as much as I can. The competition will step up in about a week and a half or so, but they passed the first initial test. When you're talking about 3-point shooters, yeah, this team's still going to shoot a lot of 3-pointers. 17 for 37 today, almost 46%. And as you mentioned, almost breaking the Illini record. But even from the field, they shot 40 of 73 for 54.8%. But before we get to the next segment, let's just talk about the defense. Even defensively, they only allowed 27 points in the first half, 28 in the second half. Now, granted, Jackson State's biggest player isn't probably not bigger than Jake Davis from our basketball team, but Jackson State likes to hoist those 3-pointers as well. They went 7 for 29. They kind of reminded me of last year's Illini team, but at least for game 1, again, you can't take too much into it, but they passed, right? Like,
yeah.
They did their job, and they actually did. I'm taking a look. Yeah, they doubled the opponent, allowing 55 points. They only allowed 30.6 shooting from the field. I mean, offensive, defensive, you had a complete positive team performance today.
Yeah, man. I mean, early in the game, I tweeted the Bart Simpson's chalkboard meme when they were up 30-6, and the sentence is, it's Jackson State. But I mean, there's 10 minutes into the game, they hadn't even allowed double digits, I think, somewhere around that. So, hey, whether it's Jackson State or it's the defense, all I know is that the team rebounded. They had 61 rebounds today to their 19. Like, size definitely a big part in that, but that's something that I thought might come back to earth a little bit this season compared to last season. Last year, they were a great rebounding team. They were incredible as an offensive rebounding team. I feel like perhaps the 3-point shooting will be better this year, but the rebounding might be a little bit more neutral compared to last year, just based off trends or, I don't know, vibes. I have nothing to prove what I'm saying, but you get what I'm saying. 61 rebounds. That's good. That's great. If you're going to out rebound a team like the way they did Jackson State tonight, going to win a lot of games. Of course, they'll play teams that are bigger and more competitive against them. But I just think when it comes to defense, rebounding is just so important for this team. And maybe it's because I hear Brad just emphasize it so much in his post-game pressers and even like pre-game stuff that when he talks. And so rebounding is going to be really key for this team this year, I think, especially if those threes aren't falling.
I mean, yeah, in the first half, Illinois had 31 rebounds. Jackson State had 8. And, as you said, that's going to be one of the biggest question marks on this basketball team. Are they going to rebound? Not only did we lose Morez from last year, who was an excellent offensive rebounder, but Kasparis Yakushonis is as good of a rebounding guard as you're going to find in the country. But right after this, we're going to talk about some breaking news that happened right before the game started and how it could deter a positive momentum for this upcoming season. The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you missed the start of the game or want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets from everything about who's going to score next to maybe any fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It keeps the game exciting, especially when it's your team making the late push. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. And welcome back. 72 people watching. We got, I think, 20 likes. As Jason Long said earlier, that math is not mathing, gentlemen. Let's talk about the breaking news. It's not breaking news. I mean, it's surprising news. That's more than anything else. Now, you guys might find out what happened because Cody and I went live immediately after the game. Right now, probably Brad Underwood is up with his press conference, and hopefully someone is doing their job and asking him, why was Brandon Lee in a boot and on crutches today? Apparently he aggravated something yesterday. What? We don't know. We're about to find out. But Cody, if Brandon Lee's out for a considerable amount of time, we're already out Mihailo Petrovic indefinitely. And, I hate the ominous nature of that word. Being down those two guys from a backcourt that really wasn't all that deep to begin with is kind of worrying to me.
Yeah. Well, I'd say, first off, Jeremy Werner tweeted 21 minutes ago that Brad Underwood said he suffered an ankle injury the last 10 minutes of practice yesterday. So, that sucks. Yeah, I don't know what else to really say other than that sucks. And I guess sometimes we just can't have nice things, but yeah, I mean, I guess my question now is like, when is Mihailo going to be able to play, man? Like that's like that. They need to get him back, and then obviously Andre. Did they sit him just because they're playing Jackson State or what? Like I those two guys. Nothing against Brandon Lee, but those other two guys are more important than Brandon Lee, and so they need to get those guys back. Hopefully, Lee won't be out too long, but I based off what I've seen online, it looks like Stojaković is really close. But there's been a lot of, the day after practice, sometimes he's not always feeling the greatest. At least that's what I've been reading online. So, the internet's the internet. You never can trust it fully. But yeah, I don't know, man. Like, thankfully, they're in a spot where they don't have some gauntlet to go through right now. Mm-hmm. But they need to get healthy if they're going to, really compete with some of these teams they're going to play in the non-conference here in the next, couple weeks.
Yeah, so I actually told the Talk Illini Discord this morning. And by the way, guys, if you're not in that Talk Illini Discord, please, link should be in the description. We got over 300 people, Illini fans spread all across the country talking Illini sports all day. And that's where I kind of get to share tidbits when I'm not exactly going live. It's hard. I do one show a day. So if I find something out in the morning and I'm not going live until night, it's a way for you to find things out a little cheaper. But I did speak to someone, and they basically said that Andre Stojaković is a full go in practice. He's 100% practicing out with his teammates. They're not holding him back in any sort of way. But as you said, Cody, essentially what they do is they monitor to see how he feels the day after. And he still tends to be a little bit more sore than usual. But for the most part, he's essentially 95% recovered health-wise from that injury. And if I had to guess, it was a precautionary thing. My guess is Brad Underwood and this coaching staff watched enough Jackson State tape coming into this game to be like, you know, Andres, just take another 3-4 days and rest up. You know, we'll see how you feel against Florida Gulf Coastal on Friday evening. But the backcourt stuff still does bother me. You know, I think that, you know, with the uncertainty of Mihailo's injury, like it's an ankle injury. And if you watch enough of Mihailo's game, it's based on his speed and the way he attacks the basket. And so if the ankle is lingering, even for a long stretch of time, that's really going to trouble the way he plays. It's going to change things up. And so that's why, you know, seeing this Brandon Lee injury, and I'll be honest, those of you who were here with me last year, 2 hours before the game started, the first game of the season, we found Ty Rodgers was randomly deciding to redshirt, which surprised everybody. And so me all of a sudden seeing Brandon Lee with a boot on, I completely assumed the absolute worst. Like, oh, what happened here? So, you know, I hope it's just, you know, maybe he turned his ankle, but I figured if it's a boot, you're talking maybe an ankle sprain. There's no real timeline on it. But as we talked about in that first segment, you're really going to be counting on guys like Kylan Boswell and certainly Keaton Wagler. Kylan, I felt like kind of took it easy today. I mean, if you take a look at his stats, in 28 minutes, he got 10 points, 4 of 9 from the field, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. He was kind of in coast mode. He knew the team didn't really need him today, like they're going to need him in about a week and a half. But now more than ever, you're talking about asking Kylan to play 32 minutes a game. You know, Keaton Wagler, you want him, you basically threw him in the deep end at this point. And like, hey, kid, we're going to need you. Get your feet wet against Jackson State. You know, first half, a little shy. Second half, he went after it. And I'm glad he did, because as much as I love our front court and I love the depth of our front court, and one of the things I do like about this basketball team is we scored 113 points today, Cody, and we missed 3 of our best players. Yeah. You know, I get it that this is Jackson State, but still, this performance was done with a lot of the key contributors on the team. One who arguably some say might lead the team in scoring, in Stojaković, not even playing. So, you know, it's just one of those where I like what I saw, but I need to see more of it.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, this is first game. So if, you know, depending on how long Lee's out and, you know, how the other two guys, how they're coming along, like listen, they play Alabama on November 19th. I don't think they're going to beat Alabama without Stojaković or Petrovic, or at least one of them. That'll be, especially if Lee is still hurt. So to me, like, you gotta get at least one of those 3 guys healthy for that game, and go from there. But it's really hard to tell what's going on with the injury status of these guys right now. I mean, I don't. You're more in tune, Stunny. Maybe this is a better question for you from me, but you know, do you feel like they're not always as open with, you know, injury status for guys? Like every time I hear Brad asked about Ty Rodgers, for example, it's just, I don't feel like, maybe Ty Rodgers is a bad example because we just don't, because of the certain injury he got, but I've never really felt like there's been a timetable put on his injury status. I don't know when he's ever come back, even if he will. And like, I get it in the summer, but we've gotten to where we're at, and unless I miss something, I just feel like we're never going to get a real update or a timetable on like when he's going to be able to come back. You know, I don't know if I'm way off on this or not.
Well, it's one of those where, like in college, there's no real rules like there is on the professional level. Teams aren't obligated to tell you the honest truth every single time. And,
Yeah.
Again, those of you members in the Talk Line at Discord, you know how this is almost a running joke when it comes to Brad Underwood and Brett Bielema, but both head coaches. They're not exactly forthcoming, but I don't blame them. Why?
Yeah.
There's no need to be, and there's no need to give your opponent an edge in any sort of way. But obviously, this team's dealing with injuries and the schedule. Like, you're talking about Alabama on November 19th, which I know I'll be there. I think you're going to be there too, right?
I will be there. Yeah. Can't
awesome.
wait.
By the way, there will be a Locked On meetup before the game. I haven't secured the venue yet, but I'll let you guys know where it is. Send me an email at talkalina@gmail.com or join the Discord, and you'll know exactly where the details are. But I don't even know if we get past Texas Tech without Stojaković at the very least. I don't have much faith that Petrovic is going to be. I mean, he might be back, but I don't think he's going to be playing like the Petrovic that I've envisioned all offseason. The player who I talked about in here as being my flag player, like the guy who I think ultimately is going to be a starter on this basketball team. I think, an ankle, he gave it a go against Florida and he re-aggravated. So if he comes back against Texas Tech, how aggressive is he going to be with that ankle? And if he's not 110% aggressive, well, then he's not Mihailo Petrovic, at least the guy that I watched a bunch of tape of over in Europe. But right after this, Cody and I will get to some of your guys' thoughts in the chat. So make sure you also let me know who you guys think is the MVP of today's game. College football is back, and I couldn't be more excited. The tailgates, the rivalries, the energy in the stands, there's just nothing like it. But let's be real. Actually, getting tickets can feel more like a battle than the game itself. Endless queues, hidden fees, prices jumping at checkout. That's why I use Game Time, the app that gives the advantage back to the fans. It's the easiest way to score last-minute tickets at the best prices with no surprise fees. What you see is what you pay. The app made it super simple. I could even see the exact view of the seat before I buy it. Honestly, it's faster, it's cheaper, and it's less stressful than any other ways I've used to buy tickets. So take the guesswork out of buying college football tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket. Go download Game Time immediately. All right, Cody, I guess we never really addressed that in the first segment. Usually, the first segment's all about addressing who our MVP is and whatnot. This game is just a little bit different just because of the competition level. I felt like this was more of an analysis of the macro view of what we saw from the team and the game itself. But for funsies, who was your MVP of today's game?
Well, we talked so much about the freshmen. I'll go to the older guys. In this case, the oldest guy on the team. I'm pretty sure Ben Hummergau's 21 points off the bench. Man, I said it in one of my episodes leading into the season on my podcast that I just thought that the quote unquote year two jump was going to be fruitful for Ben Hummergaus this year. I'm not saying that I expect him to go out and put 21 points up every night, but I think that the exhibition against Illinois State, he had like 9 and 7, and like I'll take that every time from Ben Hummergaus. There was a lot of like games last year where he just was a complete no-show. So the bar is low, but tonight 21 points, hit the three, he had a couple drives at the basket. He looks stronger out there. Like his body doesn't look super different. I know. Right, yeah. And I still laugh at the fact that Brad called him skinny fat, like openly said that to the public. But yeah, I think Ben Hummergaus is going to have a big impact on this team this year in a good way. And I think the perception from fans is really going to change. So it was a good start for him. And again, I like seeing him do a little bit of everything, even post him up a couple times. Yeah. So he's, for me, like he wasn't the most valuable player in this particular game. I think Mirkovic was, but I like seeing 21 points off the bench from a guy like Ben Hummergaus.
Yeah, if you're going to give me the opportunity to take David Mirkovic, I'm just going to do it. I mean, the guy, the kid, talk about like every single eye is on him now, whether it's Illini fans or even the national media. Everyone's been talking about David for the past month now. And for him to just come out there and play basketball at such an effortless level. Again, in 24 minutes, he had 19 points, 14 rebounds, 4 assists. I mean, he was on pace it was either a 20-20 or a triple-double watch. It's like pick your poison. And if Jackson State had more of a pulse, maybe he could have gone a little bit more aggressively for either. But yeah, great performance. Otherwise, let's get to see what some of the crowd is saying. Uncle Phil's cow says Merck 19-14-4 versus Morez 24-3-3. Yeah. You know what? This is just something that's going to happen all season long. Whether or not we like it. The Morez comparisons. We talked about it all day during the game today in the Discord. It is what it is. Like, I wish I didn't have to keep talking about Morez, but just can you imagine? I think it was February 27th when those two finally guard each other.
Yeah.
I mean, the energy and the atmosphere in the State Farm Center on that day is going to be amazing. I already see like Michigan social media accounts trolling us about, thank you for Morez, thank you Illinois fans and stuff like that. It's like, you know what? It's that Colin Coward meme. We're good. Yeah. We're good. It's fine. We got David. We got David. I'm not too worried.
Also, those Michigan accounts, like, they clearly don't know the story, right? Like, I mean, Illinois wanted him to come back, man. Like, I think there's a lot more to that story, in my opinion. So,
and he was 0 for 2 from 3-point land. Okay, let's bring that up.
Yeah, there you go. Sorry that we didn't want to let him dribble the ball at the court too.
Brad said in the postgame, Brandon Lee got hurt at the end of the last practice. Yeah, so I just missed that. As soon as the game ended, I came up with the graphics and put this show together. So Alex says David looked in the first 10 minutes looked unstoppable. That's what I'm saying. Him and Tommy. And Tommy, right, immediately, I think 3 minutes in, had like 3 points and 3 rebounds each. Yeah. And immediately I was like, okay, I can sit back and relax. This is not a game I'm going to have to stress out too much. I can just sit back and see how the guys play as opposed to be worried about what the score was going to look like. Mm-hmm. Uncle Phil says a little too much settling for 3 still. I don't think it's settling. I think this is just what this team does.
Yeah.
I think this is on purpose. Brad and that coaching staff, they grade shots, and their gold shots are 3-pointers, free throws, and layups. And so, if this was too many threes for you, Uncle Phil's cows, this is going to happen all season long.
If you're a fan of the mid-range game, then Illinois is just not for you. However, I remember Tommy, he pump faked from the 3-point line and then moved in a couple feet to take a mid-range shot at some point in that game. And also, I remember seeing Kylan. He posted up and had a turnaround jumper, which I guess technically is in the mid-range. So the point is they just don't take a lot of mid-range shots, and they're just not going to. And I think that's an analytical thing, and that you can have your own opinion about that. That's a different story.
Friend of the show, Jason, says, I love Keaton. I know he doesn't play flashy, but his IQ on the court and length is huge. Yeah, again, it's one of those where I say it all the time, and I'm going to say it on tomorrow's episode and all week long. I hate that the hype machine came around so strong on Keaton, because if we could just judge him by his first ever college basketball game as the 150th ranked recruit in the country, which is what he was, well, he had 18 points on 4 of 8 and 8 of 10 from the free throw line, 6 rebounds and 4 assists. 18, 6, and 4 from the 150th ranked recruit in the country. But again, some fans are just now going to have little higher expectations, I guess you can say.
Sure.
Will look way different as well when Andre gets back.
Oh, yeah.
Jason, you got a fan. Says Cody in the house. I sure missed basketball season.
Hell yeah, man.
Cody's going to be joining me a lot, especially with basketball. Me and him are always trading notes as it is.
Yeah.
Ross, nice to see you too. Fegbemi got good minutes. I like the kid. William says, don't want to hear anyone ragging on Ben after this game. He was solid all around, both sides of the ball. That's all you want. Just Ben.
Yeah. How could you rag on a guy who scored 21 points off the bench, man?
Exactly right. All right, you know what? I'm going to have to wrap things up. We're already at 35 minutes. Cody, can you let the folks in here know where they can find your work?
Yeah, if you want to check out my Illini podcast, it's on YouTube, you just type in Cody_Illini. I think that's a handle on YouTube, but the show's called From Beyond Champaign on Apple, Spotify, and on my YouTube channel. I don't have anything up for tonight, but I'm going to put something up tomorrow. Not an everyday thing like Sonny is doing here, but I got to get my Illini thoughts out there as the time is now. Can't wait. I'm excited.
Yeah, appreciate having you on, Cody. And again, this won't be the last time this season. You'll see Cody's face a lot more often. Make sure if you need more Illini content, Locked On asked me to wrap things up in about a half hour. So I'm going to continue this on over to Talk Illini. So find Talk Illini on YouTube as well. But for now, please, on your way out, hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Let's hit to 4,000 subs on YouTube. Let's get to that. And until next time, ILL. Love you guys.